Okay, so I wanted to go over the post Sub made last night. He put a post in the official announcement section for Deathball of what the rough plan for the update is. He talks about progression, content, and future proofing. And the future proofing section should really be economy focused. That's more of what he talks about. There's a few system things, but overall economy is the main thing. Um, for the progression stuff and all of the stuff he talks about in general, it's really, really broad. So if you don't understand what I mean by saying this, he doesn't explain it. So as an example, he talks about quests, battle passes, and items related to progression. Now, there are so many different ways you can do that. It needs to be done properly to be a good thing for the game. Quests, battle passes, and items being tied to progression can very easily turn into a bad thing. So we'll see. But a lot of this stuff is too broad for the community to really give him input. So I think he'd be smart to um, go in more depth as far as what he's planning for the game if he wants community feedback, because a lot of this is so generic. Like he says better trading is one of the things. Again, what is better to him? That is a very subjective way of viewing it. Better trading could mean better for old players or better for new players. There's a lot of different ways you can change it, and there's a lot of different lines of thought you can go down on how to fix the game. So he should go in more depth and really explain what he wants to do if he wants to get the feedback of the community on this. Overall, I think he's doing a good job as far as what his ideas are. Some of them are a little bit extra, so I'm hoping he prioritizes. Let's say this is split into two or three updates. The core gameplay features, so ranks being re-added, trading being fixed, um, champions adding more abilities, more champions, more bosses. All of that's the important stuff from this update. The rest is kind of like all the cosmetic additions and cool flair things he's adding and game modes being tied to maps. A lot of this is extra. So about half of this doesn't matter. If he just scraps half of this until the important stuff is ready, that's probably for the best. I'll be going into everything, but overall, he needs to make sure that the core content is getting added before he worries about anything else. Because this game needs the content back and it needs the trading fixed. So hopefully he does it prioritized, and this isn't just he's going to go in this order, because this order shouldn't be the order he's going about it. So we'll see. But starting off with progression, he wants to add quests, battle passes, and items. He wants evolutions for champions when you're over level 100. He wants ranked mode back. He wants bosses with difficulty options and modifiers. He wants a better trading mode and UI overhaul. They're all pretty good changes. The evolutions for champions seems a little bit questionable. It's very easy for that to turn extremely pay to win, or really just not allow new players back into the game. Just as an example, if I'm a Cyto player and I can swap my jump out for another block, that just means you're going to win so many more fights. Or if you're playing Gazo and you can swap your blind out for a useful ability, immediately better. If you can give Senshu a better ability than, I don't know, the four, like you can change the four out to something that's useful, he would immediately be a better character. If you can change Foxero to, I don't know, have something other than the tree, he'd immediately be much better. And you can change Clone Pass out to be a normal block. So he really needs to be careful with how he does evolutions. It could be a good thing for the game, but there's a lot of ways you can mess it up to where it's worse than him just reworking the characters straight up. So we'll see. But overall, decent choices. We'll see. I'll be getting into more depth as far as this goes. I'm just giving quick opinions, and then I'll make more detailed videos for the people interested in all that. But for content, he's going to add more champions, more boss battles. He wants the raids better structured, more swords. More items attached to swords, so death effects and finishers. He wants skins, stat tracks, gifting, which I don't know why gifting's important, but sure. Sword naming, sprays, poses, game modes tied to maps, all fine. A lot of the stuff in the second half of that is very extra. He probably should ignore that until, like skins, stat tracks, all that, gifting. None of that matters until the gameplay is good again. So, champions, boss battles, bosses being better and all that, and more swords, that all needs to happen. The rest can just wait. So, the first three is great. Everything else is kind of trash. Well, first four, I guess. So, we'll see. I'm not too optimistic as far as I think he's going to waste a lot of time getting all the extra stuff in when he could have just shipped the core things. So, we'll see. As far as future proofing, which is really half economy, he wants to fix economy issues, which doesn't explain what those are. There's a lot of them. Gem inflation, which that's needed to happen for a long time, but there's a question of how you do that. The main way is by adding more copies to the game. There's no real way to fix inflation without adding more copies. So we'll see. Better trading, which doesn't explain. Shiny swords is always good. Custom dual wields, I think a lot of new players love. I think Warforged and Cyber Enigma did very well just because they were custom dual wields. Same the Torokai staff, the orange and blue one. People love that thing. And then he wants things that retain value over time, which I don't know if he means he wants swords in general or if he wants to add an item that retains value over time. So we'll see. That's interesting, but he doesn't really explain it well enough to know what he means. And then they're going to be ditching the whole card pack system. So for all the people that are, very much defending card packs will never return, they're changing the whole system. And they want it to work better long term. So if the goals are to fix inflation and they want something that works long term, the main issue with packs is that people gamble, get all the items from the pack is removed, and then every item climbs till people just can't buy it anymore. So that's the main reason the packs don't work long term. You add something once, and when you remove it, it just slowly gets worse and worse to the point where no one can afford it. So if their main goal is to fix the inflation and that, realistically, old items will be in the new system because that's the only way you can fix it long term. So whatever the removed items are, have to have some amount of new copies coming into the game to prevent inflation. So we'll see, but that does make it sound like old packs would return. I'll be getting into more depth as far as how to prepare for it and all that in more videos, but I wanted to cover it in this video because I think that's the biggest takeaway for traders, that it probably will happen off of how he's worded this. Then he wants leaderboard rewards, automated tournaments, which he doesn't say anything about what the rewards are for either of those. Private server commands, which I don't understand why we need that. It doesn't seem necessary or helpful. The only way I can guess that would be helpful is if you can do custom games in Deathball. So, I don't know. Let's say you can do a custom game where everyone has zero gravity and the ball moves twice as fast. If they're going for some sort of weird custom games thing, that might be fun, but I don't see that being useful. I don't understand why that's important. And then they want to be able to update the game more regularly and like get all the systems working, which that's really just their back end stuff. It doesn't matter to us. So overall, I think it's a good change. Some of it's kind of bloat, but we'll see. I'll be going into more depth as far as each section goes, and especially because I'm a trading channel, I'll be going into what I think all the trading stuff means and how to prepare for it because I've already got some ideas in mind, but there's a lot of ways that they can counter the way we prep for it. So we'll see. But that's it for today. So have a good one.